Charlie Kirk's remains were delivered to his home state of Arizona yesterday. And what happened on the ground in the Grand Canyon State was actually quite remarkable. And I think might give you a little hope if you bear with me and watch along with us. Let's first take a look at the scene in Utah as his casket was escorted to the vice president's plane with the vice president leading the way. Pallbearers from the United States Air Force accompanying the casket, as well, of course, traveling with the Air Force airplane that the vice president travels on. And then when what's commonly referred to as Air Force Two, the vice president's plane, landed on the ground in Arizona, take a listen to the message from the air traffic controller.
South 1555 Phoenix Air, wind 2409, runway 26, good line.
Clear line 26, Southwest 1565.
Welcome home, Charlie. You didn't deserve it. May God bless your family.
Chris DeGaulle, I keep losing it emotionally at various times this week as we see this outpouring of love and respect and adoration for Charlie and the grief. There's something about seeing people express their grief openly in public that really gets to me, and I think it's a healthy thing for us. But between that moment and the moment at Yankee Stadium the other night where they paused for a moment of silence for Charlie and put his picture up on the board, and last night's football game in Green Bay where the NFL did the same thing, there's something hopeful about this in a strange way, isn't there?
I saw three different football players, I believe, today. You mentioned the Packers, and bear with me here. Yes, to that point. I just had this, and let me find it again. It won't take me but a second. Okay. I know, yes. C.J. Stroud at the Texans. He wants the team doing and the entire NFL to observe a moment of silence for Charlie. That's a player with the Texans. C.D. Lamb.
C.J. is a deeply devout Christian. I know.
C.D. Lamb of the Dallas Cowboys asks the Cowboys and other NFL teams to observe a moment of silence for Charlie this weekend. And the Packers, you mentioned, Jordan Love donating $320,000 to support Charlie's family, $120,000 for murals and floral memorials, and another $200,000 to a trust fund for his children's future. That's just one guy, Jordan Love, quarterback of the Packers. So, yes, I think it strikes me, it seems to me, that the fear of censorship, thank God, is dead. I think I mentioned this today on the show. I think Elon Musk actually bears a little bit, if not a lot, of responsibility and thanks for the fact that he has changed the culture in a way that now we're able to see things, exchange thoughts that we weren't allowed to do when it was Jack Dorsey's Twitter.
Yeah,
I think Charlie's presence, the things he said, the things he stood for, the viral video moments, he's only amplified now. I mean, he has really become, this assassin has now taken him from being a really effective messenger to now some sort of next level figure who is going to be eulogized in a beautiful way, probably literally cast as a statue on various campuses. There will be events named after him. The vice president is carrying his casket on Air Force Two. The president's going to give him the Congressional Medal of Honor, for heaven's sakes. I think that may well have elected J.D. Vance, the next president of the United States, if I could be so bold. I'm not going to predict it, but I feel like that could happen. And I think this guy's bullet certainly didn't kill a movement. I think it amplified it in a way we can't even quantify.
Yeah, amplified it, grew it, and galvanized it, I think.
Yeah.
I think you're right, too. I interviewed this morning on my radio show a young woman who runs the St. Mary's College chapter for Turning Point USA, and I asked her, I said, "Are you worried about your safety, about your danger? If you were my daughter, I would be very worried for you right now." And there was a bit of a pause, and she said, "Well, yeah, and I talked to my dad about it, but I told him that I'm willing to die for this cause. I'm willing to die for this country."
I
22-year-old woman.
I will tell you that I had a pastor friend who I don't mean to keep reading to you, but people have been so smart. And this pastor friend of mine said something that I quoted on X yesterday, and I loved it. Here's what he said. He wrote to me and a couple of other colleagues, reflecting on Charlie's life, we should continue with fortified resolve to give everything we have to this battle, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And when it's all said and done, we spend our lives trying to make an eternal difference for other people. I'm willing to live or die for that. And when I reflect back on the saints of Scripture and the martyrs of the church, it's not that they had a death wish. They just weren't afraid to die. What a model. And that's it. That's in your question. That was that woman's response that caught you. It's not being afraid. We cannot fear. We do not fear with the light of Christ at our back.
Chris, it is impossible to not notice when you read the Gospels how many times Jesus Christ himself greets people with, "Do not be afraid. Be not afraid." And John Paul II, when he was named the Pope after the conclave in 1979, I believe his first words as the new pontiff was, "Be not afraid." There's something to that.
The president was asked this week. I think the president was asked yesterday, "Are you afraid? Are you afraid of for your safety?" And he paused for a minute and he said, "No, I'm afraid for the country. I don't like this for the country." But I mean, the man's already been shot.
Right.
You know, how much more fearful can you be? I mean, he knows the danger. Charlie knew the danger. That's what I keep saying. I don't presume to know Charlie's heart or his head, and I don't know Erica, his wife, at all. I cannot believe these people were not fully aware of the danger that Charlie faced and the hate that was directed at Charlie. And I don't think they cared a little bit because they knew their Lord and Savior. They knew where their reward was, even if the worst should happen. That didn't stop these people from being bold. And it shouldn't stop us either.
Let's take a look more of the scene on the ground there in very hot Arizona, but it didn't stop people from coming out in large numbers to just get a glimpse of the casket carrying the remains of Charlie.
We turned our camera, but there is a large gathering here. They started gathering here, I would say, 3 hours ago. Everyone has their phones up. You can see flags here, and we spoke to them a few hours ago, and we'll speak to them again once the hearse passes. And we heard that sound earlier today in our newscast.
Lindsay, J.D. Vance helped join the group of uniformed service members to bring Charlie Kirk's body home. What is the sense?
Okay, and I also want to show you this image here. This was the moment when Erica Kirk, the widow, it's hard to use those words, the widow of Charlie Kirk, emerged from the airplane with Usha Vance, the second lady of the United States. Obviously looking distraught and exhausted and no young woman should have to go through this at her age, to have to be a widow with two young children like this. I'm brought to mind our friend Mary Catherine Ham, who I know we both know and have worked with, when her husband died at a very young age. I remember going to the funeral, and she walked down the aisle pregnant with their second child, 8 months pregnant. A pregnant widow is a heartbreaking thing to see, and it's heartbreaking to see these images as well. But I keep using the word galvanizing. These images, I think, are bringing us all together in this grief. There's a reason why in Western civilization, in the Judeo-Christian model, we have ceremonies to acknowledge and express the grief that is associated with death. Isn't that important for us to go through this together?
Yeah, it is. And I, not to be redundant, I did not know his wife at all. And I began researching her a little bit last night on social media, and I was struck by her posts on Instagram. And I sat and watched several of them. What a composed, strong, beautifully articulate, and not in a forceful way, in an aggressive way, but in a confident. She carried with her such a confidence in every video she posted, speaking to other women about being a mother and being a wife and the importance of being married. And as I'm consuming that, I thought, here's a woman I didn't know. I knew nothing of her. I just knew Charlie's work. I never really thought to look into his wife, frankly. And now I'm sitting watching this woman so beautifully, eloquently talk about motherhood and being a great wife and how important it is for the woman to be the guardian of the home. And I thought, good Lord, this thing is going to be amplified times 10, not just Charlie's message, but now his wife. People are going to be watching this woman and how she carries herself. And I guarantee she's going to do it beautifully with the strength of Christ. And now you've got a twofold message that's going to be amplified. These two people, they were a powerful force together, and they still will be. And I can't imagine how she hurts and how she grieves, but boy, I know who she is, and so does she.
Mm-hmm.
And for that, I know she's going to be great.
Well, let's look at this last image, which will be a lasting one. She got into the family automobile, I believe, or maybe a security vehicle with the second family as they escorted Charlie's remains to the funeral home. And she held out her arm holding, when you zoom in on it, you can see it is a cross. It is a cross on a chain. As she holds back the tears, she held it up for everyone on the side of the road to see as she passed by. That is Charlie's cross that he would wear all the time. She kept it, and she's now holding it up to inspire everyone for Charlie, for his beliefs, for his work, and for his faith. And I think you're right. I don't think this is the last time we're going to see Erica Kirk. Hey, buddy, thanks for being here today with me. I needed to have a conversation with you.
I love you.
I love you too.
God bless you, man.
Thank you. Hey, and rest up this weekend. And Monday morning, I need you right shoulder to shoulder with me fighting this fight, because it ain't over. They're not going away.
No, we're not done. There aren't enough bullets, as I said this week. There aren't enough bullets. Do your worst.
You've been talking to Kurt Schlichter.
Love you, bud.